All right, top story. A second infectious COVID strain has linked to South Africa has now been found. This new variant is known as 501.V2 and preliminary reports suggest that the strain is even more infectious than the UK strain 1. 2 cases of South African variants of virus has been reported in the United Kingdom. Both cases are contacts of those who had travelled from South Africa over the past few weeks. Meanwhile, the government has denied reports that some COVID-positive UK flyers have been identified with the new contagious strain. Government said that the test results of the samples are still awaited. Around 22 passengers from the United Kingdom tested positive for the virus across India. Their samples have now been sent for spike gene analysis. The first strain was found in the United Kingdom, and now there's a second strain with links to South Africa which has been found. Now the second strain is said to be even more contagious than the first strain. In terms of the first strain, viewers, at least which what was billed earlier was that it was 70% more infectious than the original COVID-19 strain. And this one now, the second strain, which has links to South Africa, is seemingly, at least initial reports suggest, is more infectious than the strain found even in the United Kingdom. Now, in the midst of these 2 strains coming up, which is one, the United Kingdom strain, and the second with the South African strain, both a lot more infectious than the original COVID-19 strain. What can India do? What India needs to do? Number 1, massively scale up surveillance for corona variants. Number 2, India needs to be proactive about these variants, not reactive. And there's a huge difference between that. Number 3, travel bans must be supported with suppression of local transmission. What is interesting to note here is that tourism for India is open to South Africa right now. Would that mean a lot of transfer and transmission in terms of the coronavirus's strain which has been found in South Africa? Meanwhile, what are the do's and don'ts? Well, we need to reset our risk assessment, reduce social contact. Even occasional outings, weddings, vacations are risky. Totally avoid the 3 C's: crowded places, close contact, confined spaces. I want to connect immediately right now to my colleague Milan, who's joining us for the latest updates on the story. Milan, the second strain right now, which has links apparently to South Africa, what more can you add to it? It's touted to be even more infectious than the UK strain, which was 70% more infectious than the original COVID-19 strain.
Well, that's right. This new strain that happens to have originated in South Africa has just been revealed, and this happens to be a more infectious strain. We already know that the UK strain is 70% more infectious, although experts have said that it's not deadly, which means that it does not increase the severity or the mortality of those who are contracted the new mutant strain that has originally come from the United Kingdom this time. But of course, every country is now on guard because there are several countries where the strain has already been seen, countries like Netherlands as well. But in India, the 20 who have tested positive, their genome sequencing will be done by accredited labs and the labs of the government. And only then we'll be able to know whether the 20 who have tested positive, who landed from the United Kingdom in India, have the same strain or not. But definitely the government has said that one needs to be calm and not panic because it's very normal for the influenza virus to mutate like this. There have been 17 more mutations together. This is what the Union government has also informed us, and which is why all social distancing norms, protocol and wearing a mask is important as well. Meanwhile, the vaccine makers are also claiming that they would not be impacted by this new strain because genomic sequencing has been done at length of the spike protein of the coronavirus, and which is why vaccines at this point will not be impacted, Preeti.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Milan. We're going to continue to come back to you for more updates on that story. Let's just move on. As protests against farm laws enter day 29, there's been no end to the stalemate between farmers and the centre. The Modi government has once again urged farmers to come out on the table to diffuse apprehensions about the farm laws. Here's the full report.
A month on, farmers continue to play hardball. They remain adamant on their demand for rollback of the 3 farm laws. The Narendra Modi government has once again offered to renew talks with agitating farmers. The centre has sent a new letter to 40 Kisan unions urging farmers to list their concerns. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar met a group of farmers from Meerut who hailed farm laws.
आज ये सारे किसान यहाँ सिर्फ इसलिए चलकर आए हैं क्योंकि ये कृषि सुधार बिलों का समर्थन करना चाहते हैं। इन्होंने सबने मिलकर मुझे समर्थन पत्र भी दिया है और इन्होंने यह भी कहा है कि कृषि सुधार बिल में संशोधन के मामले में सरकार को किसी दबाव में आने की जरूरत नहीं है।
This outreach comes just hours after farmer unions termed Centre's earlier letter an attempt to discredit their movement. In a bid to connect with citizens about their concerns over farm laws, farmers held a digital press conference and accused the Modi government of pushing a privatization drive.
हमारे से बातचीत करनी है तो इससे हटकर प्रपोजल को छोड़े, इसको रद्द करने की बात करे।
The farmers assured no one will be allowed to incite violence in their name. Prime Minister Modi slated to address farmers from 6 states virtually on Friday. It remains to be seen if he will be able to bridge the trust deficit between his government and the farmer unions. With Mausami Singh and Anisha Mathur, Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi launched a scathing attack on the centre over contentious farm laws targeting Prime Minister Modi. Rahul Gandhi claimed there is no democracy in India and those who stood up against the Prime Minister are being labelled anti-nationals. Rahul added that the democracy in India is imaginary and nowhere in reality. Rahul Gandhi had led a delegation to the President and he said that opposition stands with farmers. Moreover, accused the centre of running policies which suit corporates. Earlier, Rahul, along with party leaders Ghulam Nabi Azad, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, met the President at Rashtrapati Bhavan and submitted a letter, memorandum. Congress delegation sought his intervention to resolve the farmers' agitation.
ये आप किस देश की बात कर रहे हो? ये कौन सी देश की बात कर रहे हो? डेमोक्रेसी? ये मतलब कौन से देश की बात कर रहे हो? इंडिया की बात कर रहे हो? इंडिया में कोई डेमोक्रेसी नहीं है। डेमोक्रेसी इंडिया में ये मतलब आपके इमेजिनेशन में हो सकती है मगर रियलिटी में है नहीं। राष्ट्रपति से हमने कहा कि ये जो कानून बनाए गए हैं ये किसान विरोधी कानून है और इससे किसानों का जबरदस्त नुकसान होने वाला है, मजदूरों का, किसानों का। सरकार ने कहा था कि ये कानून किसान के फायदे के हैं और देश को दिख रहा है कि किसान कानून के खिलाफ खड़ा हुआ है और मैं प्रधानमंत्री जी से कहना चाहता हूं कि ये किसान हटेगा नहीं। प्रधानमंत्री को ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि किसान और मजदूर घर चले जाएंगे, नहीं जाएंगे। जब तक ये कानून वापस नहीं लिया जाएगा, जॉइंट सेशन कीजिए और कानून को एकदम वापस लीजिए क्योंकि किसान नहीं जाने वाला है।
राहुल गांधी जो कुछ बोलते हैं उसको कांग्रेस भी गंभीरता से नहीं लेती। देश का तो सवाल ही नहीं उठता है।
लेकिन आज राष्ट्रपति
और आज वो जब राष्ट्रपति महोदय के पास विरोध व्यक्त करने के लिए गए तो मुझे ये सब किसान खड़े हुए हैं। मैंने इनसे पूछा तो उन्होंने कहा कोई दस्तखत कराने नहीं आया कांग्रेस का आदमी और किसी किसान ने दस्तखत नहीं किए। दूसरा, अगर राहुल गांधी को इतनी किसानों की चिंता थी तो जब उनकी सरकार थी तो सरकार के माध्यम से कुछ न कुछ किसानों के लिए कर सकते थे। कांग्रेस का हमेशा से चरित्र किसान विरोधी रहा है।
अगला उन्होंने आरोप लगाया कि किसान यहां बैठे हुए हैं और किसी के ऊपर भी आरोप लगा दिया जाता है, उसको देश विरोधी कह दिया जाता है। तो राहुल गांधी जी के सुलभ संज्ञान के लिए मैं उन्हें पुनः स्मरण कराना चाहता हूं। फॉर हिज कॉग्निजेंस आई वुड लाइक टू रिमाइंड हिम, कल चौधरी चरण सिंह जी का जन्मदिन था, पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री। यानी यस्टरडे, और कल यानी टुमारो आदरणीय अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी का जन्मदिन है। या दोनों के ऊपर आपने देशद्रोह के मुकदमे नहीं लगाए थे?
Meanwhile, a war of words erupted after Prime Minister Modi invoked Rabindranath Tagore's principles addressing the centenary celebrations of the Visva Bharati University. Hitting out at the Prime Minister, TMC claimed he is obsessed with finding Gujarat connection with Tagore. TMC further alleged that had Tagore been alive, Prime Minister would have targeted him for speaking out against communal politics. The party claimed that Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee wasn't invited for the Visva Bharati event. Earlier in the day, while addressing the event virtually, Modi said that the country is spreading the message emanating from Visva Bharati to the whole world, and that Visva Bharati had contributed to the freedom movement and played a crucial role in building New India.
गुरुदेव ने हमें स्वदेशी समाज का संकल्प दिया था। वो हमारे गांवों को, हमारी कृषि को आत्मनिर्भर देखना चाहते थे। वो वाणिज्य और व्यापार को आत्मनिर्भर देखना चाहते थे। वो आर्ट और लिटरेचर को आत्मनिर्भर देखना चाहते थे। उन्होंने आत्मनिर्भरता के लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करने के लिए आत्मशक्ति की बात कही थी। आत्मशक्ति की ऊर्जा से राष्ट्र निर्माण को लेकर उन्होंने जो बात कही थी, वो आज भी उतनी ही अहम है। उन्होंने कहा था, राष्ट्र का निर्माण एक तरह से अपनी आत्मा की प्राप्ति का ही विस्तार है। साथियों, भारत को मजबूत और आत्मनिर्भर बनाने में आपका हर योगदान पूरे विश्व को एक बेहतर स्थान बनाएगा। मैं फिर से गुरुदेव और गुजरात की आत्मीयता का स्मरण करा रहा हूं। ये बार बार याद करना इसलिए भी जरूरी है क्योंकि ये हमें एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत की भावना से भरता है। ये दिखाता है कि अलग अलग भाषाओं, बोलियां, खान पान, पहनावे वाला हमारा देश एक दूसरे से कितना जुड़ा हुआ है।
Language itself will prove that the political intention. But I respect Gujarati also. Because Gandhiji is our leader. He is father of the nation. But it doesn't mean that only they are the Gujarati, the other people are also there. Rabindranath is for all, and he is for all over the world. He is familiar and he is remembered by all over the world. And he is the icon of the world cultural society.
All right, joining me right now is my colleague Indrajit Kundu, getting us the very latest on this developing story from Kolkata. Indrajit, would you give us a bit of a background on how there's always been a bit of rancor where the Visva Bharati University is concerned vis-a-vis the Chief Minister of West Bengal?
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his capacity of being the Prime Minister, is also the Chancellor of the university. And he was, of course, speaking at the centenary celebrations of Visva Bharati University. And it was expected that since the university is situated in West Bengal, the Chief Minister will find a mention. The Chief Minister will also be invited. Now, we see this entire controversy snowballing into a big ruckus with the Trinamool Congress and Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee herself claiming that there was no invite sent to her, whereas the Visva Bharati University maintains that a formal invite was extended to her. Nonetheless, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has come out very strongly criticizing the kind of speech that the Prime Minister has given, even though it was not a political speech or a political program. The Trinamool Congress and Mamata Banerjee herself claimed that all that the BJP and all that the Prime Minister is speaking is a language of the BJP, which do not really know the vision and the legacy of Rabindranath Tagore, who spoke about universalism and was very against the ideology that the BJP propagates of parochial nationalism. Is something that Rabindranath Tagore always spoke against, and therefore the Trinamool Congress has hit out at Prime Minister Narendra Modi over the speech that he has given today.
All right, appreciate you joining us. We'll continue to come back to you for more updates. Meanwhile, let's just quickly shift focus. The Congress has trained its guns on Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa after his plea seeking quashing of an old corruption case against him was turned down by the High Court. Accusing Yediyurappa of corruption, Congress demanded his immediate removal and questioned the Prime Minister for not acting against him. Congress alleged that the Chief Minister has been delaying the investigation of graft charges against him. Yediyurappa was booked over an alleged illegal denotification of land in Belandur, where he was serving as the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka in 2006. A case was filed against him in February 2015 on a complaint registered 2 years earlier. He later moved the court last year, but his plea seeking quashing of an FIR was dismissed on Tuesday.
Sri Yediyurappa has been found almost guilty and virtually guilty by the High Court of Karnataka in terms of the act of corruption by denotifying lands, which is a carryover from his previous regime. And from today onwards, since the judgment of the High Court has come, his continuance in office is completely untenable, and Mr. Yediyurappa must resign. There is no way in which he can continue in office. If the BJP has any shame, has any respect, has any sense of decorum for the people of Karnataka, they must insist that the Chief Minister of Karnataka demit office instantaneously.
All right, let's move on and get you the very latest on the dipping air quality index of the national capital today in very poor category. Residents of Delhi once again woke up to a very hazy morning with air quality slipping to a severe category. An overall air quality index of 422 was recorded today. Amidst drop in temperatures, the air quality has also been on the decline. Adjoining areas of Delhi, NCR region is also witnessing worsening air quality. Air in Ghaziabad and Faridabad is in the severe category, with overall AQI of 439 and 396 respectively. Welcome back. You're watching our Fact Check segment, where we bust certain claims that are masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now, there is a claim that is going about suggesting Dilip Ghosh of the BJP in West Bengal was beaten up by Rohingyas in Bengal. The fact check on that: this viral video is from 2017. Absolutely nothing to do with Dilip Ghosh or Rohingyas or West Bengal. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of 7 at 7. Do stay with me. Up next is To The Point. Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.